Want to run faster, jump higher, move with more power? The Sports Recovery and Development Program at Bridges Therapy Group builds speed, strength, agility, and endurance while correcting movement issues that can cause injury. Give your athlete the edge. Schedule an assessment today at srdathlete.com.
Love where you live and play with Lindsay Management. Affordable apartments and golf memberships at 9 and 18-hole courses. Buying or selling? Trust Lindsay and Associates. Serving the community for over 50 years. Lindsay, #1 in apartments, golf, and real estate.
Kind of like coming home, like this was one program that I always thought in Northwest Arkansas that if I ever had the chance to leave Bentonville, it would be this one right here. He seems to be saying all the right things, but until there's success, are they going to think I'm full of it? Or, like, hey, there's a lot of new faces and just trying to build that bond where everything is cohesive, and they enjoy being, or I want people to want to be around.
This is Varsity Vibe Stories, brought to you by Lewis Automotive. Hired back in January of 2025, Aaron Danenhauer becomes the third head coach for the Har-Ber football program, who is now entering its 20th season. Spending the last 12 years at Bentonville and helping them to back-to-back state titles in 13 and 14, he is now taking over the Har-Ber Wildcats program. Working under head coaches like Barry Lunney Sr. and Jody and Chris Wood, he steps into this new role with excitement and passion, ready to start paving his own head coaching legacy. Do you remember getting that phone call and the offer to come and be the head coach at Har-Ber?
I do. I was like in the indoor facility at Bentonville High School, actually right next to Coach Grant and our AD at the time, Chris Hutchins. But they knew that there was an opportunity or a chance that was going to happen. So, yeah, I do. I took the call, answered Coach Fimple's phone call, and said, yes, here we go.
When you look back at the process, what was it about Har-Ber that attracted you? You had spent so much time at Bentonville. You were familiar with the program, but why did you feel like you were the right guy to lead it?
Well, it kind of goes back to 2007 when I first got my coaching start. When I came out of college and I was still trying to play on, I ended up becoming a graduate assistant here, or whatever you want to call it, at Har-Ber under Chris Wood when this program first got started. And so it was kind of like coming home. Like this was one program that I always thought in Northwest Arkansas that if I ever had the chance to leave Bentonville, it would be this one right here, because there's a lot of familiar faces. I've always believed that Springdale, the town of Springdale, is a town that they want to win and they're going to be successful at football. And so when God kind of put all that together in the works, and that would be the main reason.
When you look at, you said the town of Springdale has had success, can have success, one success. So you went to Bentonville. You saw what Gus Malzahn did with that Springdale team. I mean, there is potential there and there's talent there. And so how do you tap into what you have now that you get to lead your own program and figure out exactly what you want it to look like?
Well, I think it's a good question. Like you look at just even at Har-Ber, though, the history of Har-Ber, like in 2007 when I was here as a graduate assistant, we were the runners up. In 2009, they won it. So the tradition from Springdale carried over to Har-Ber, and they were competitive, and every year they were up for a conference championship there for the longest time. I mean, and so one thing I've done is I've tried to continue to tap into that. Knowing some of those kids that have graduated from here, I've had them come back and talk to the team and tell guys, I want you around, man. You help build this program, and it's a program. It's not about me. It's not about one individual. It's about the entity of the whole program. And so that's one thing I've done. That's one thing I've learned under my tours under Coach Lunney and Coach Grant at Bentonville was building a team, a championship level program. And how you do that, you start with it being about the program, about the kids, and try to win their hearts and build relationships. And that's been our main focus here.
You're leading me right in the direction that I want to go. I wanted to ask you what you've learned when you were coaching under Coach Lunney and under Coach Grant. And as the OC, how many times did you sit there and say, okay, when I become a head coach, I like that, or I don't like this, or this is kind of what I want this to look like?
Yeah, definitely a lot. Like I would say this under Coach Lunney, and then as Coach Grant took that over, and we, even Coach Grant would say we kind of did this together, and I learned so much from Coach Lunney and even Chris Wood here. There's just always bits and pieces you take from everything you do, even like even playing, like in college and your coaches, you just take all those things. But overall with Coach Lunney, it was all about, being a 3D coach and capturing the heart. I mean, he was such a mentor to me who changed my life and my career, basically, honestly. And then with Coach Grant and stuff, we just, we were after the split. So it was like, okay, now how do we continue to progress this thing and build this thing? And we always kind of did it together. He was the leader, the head coach. And, if I had an idea or a thought, he was awesome about it. He listened, he helped grow me as a coach. And so, basically, I've taken the model and everything that I know and brought it here. And there was already a good foundation, again, because this is Springdale town. They know they want to win. They want to play football,
You said that Coach Lunney, a big mentor for you, helped really change your life and the trajectory of your coaching career. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think when you're young and you come out of college and you played college football, sometimes how you speak and how you do things doesn't mean I was a bad person, but I probably wasn't as sharp as I needed to be, especially in my lingo and my grammar and how I spoke to kids. And he mentored me in that way, and being a good Christian man. He led me towards FCA a little bit more. I mean, I was a Christian person, but at the same time, it just that mentorship of him pouring into me, really, he's kind of like another father figure for me. He really, he came and spoke to our team I did like a living in the moment with our seniors, and there was their senior dads and their kid, and he came and I had him come speak to him about living in the moment one last year as a senior and all that. I mean, so that's kind of what I mean.
When you got the head coaching job, what was the first thing that Coach Lunney and Coach Grant, and if Coach Wood, if you talked to him, say to you?
Congratulations. They were excited for me. Like they knew it was time, and you were just waiting for the right one, and they were excited for me. They're all in my corner. Chris Wood's still down there at SMU right now, cheering on the Har-Ber Wildcats as we speak.
So you walk into the office. It's now your office. You're now the head coach. You sit down at the desk for the first time. What are you doing? What were the first things you wanted to do when you took over?
Really just start building relations with people. Like I sat down here, and my main focus was just to go, I talked to the kids for the first time. I just spoke to them about, guys, I'm going to have your back. My goal is to build a relationship with you and get you to love playing football again and want to do it for the right reasons. I just told him, you'll see my heart. I'm going to have your back. You have my back, and let's go get this thing. Same thing with the coaches, I had one-on-one meetings with him right off the bat and just tried to get to know him a little bit, and kind of go from there. And then, it was kind of funny, like Chris, when he sat down one time, he came in here and, this used to be his office too. So he sat down in the chair across from me and he was like, he just kind of looked around and he goes, like what you done with the place. And that's because there's not much decoration up yet. I don't have anything. I'm here to work, I'm here to, it's not about this office, So I tell the kids all the time, it's not about me.
Maybe a few pictures though.
I do have. My wife did give me some family pictures, so I have some family pictures. Yes,
that is important.
That's important.
That is important, and of course, you put your staff together. How much holdover did you have from the old staff? And I know you brought in Joe Adams, and kind of really being able to piece together the staff that you wanted.
Yeah, there were a few, like some good coaches here. There were some that they wanted to kind of move on and do some other things. And so I was, that's great. You got to do what you want to do. I'm always going to support others and their dreams and goals. So some went other places, but through that, it did allow me to get some guys in here that I wanted, Joe Calcagni, our offensive coordinator, who's a Springdale kid. I coached his older brother on the 07 team at Har-Ber, and he went on to have a good career at Tulsa and coached with Eli Drinkowitz in college. So the fact to bring him back kind of home was really huge, I think, for this program. Our defensive coordinator, Julian Washington, was a big hire. He was a head coach in Georgia, and just kind of the way, God works in crazy ways. He ended up being like He was a volunteer coach with us at Bentonville last year because his family moved to Northwest Arkansas. So I got to build that relationship with him. He's a great defensive mind, and he was a head coach that helped turn around a program in Georgia. And so it just worked out perfect to be able to bring him with us over here. And then obviously when I had a receivers coach position, to be able to hire Joe Adams, I mean, that kind of speaks for itself in this area. Everyone knows who that guy is. You know, my brother played with him at Arkansas, and I was at the game when he returned that punt at Tennessee. I mean, the dude's a stud. I think he could still do it right now. Like, I think if you put him out there around the 40 and asked him to return a kick, he probably still could pretty well. So that's awesome. Kids respect him and love him. And right now, all our coaches, we had some really good coaches on staff, our defensive staff along with that. We have some good ones. And they've all bought in, and they're just doing anything they could do to whatever I ask. And, I mean, I think we're building a cohesive staff here, and it's been fun.
I do have to ask, do your players know who Joe Adams is? Have they seen the highlights?
I think it took a moment, because the crazy thing, we all think that kids watch football outside of this, but a lot of them don't. And so I think some did, or their parents told them, and then they finally went and probably found some videos of them and was like, oh,
mad respect,
guy.
Coach.
Like, yeah, I got you. Hey, Coach, yeah. Because, I mean, it's funny. I don't think kids really watch a lot of they don't watch football outside of this, I don't think.
Yeah, and that was probably before most of them were born, honestly,
Yes.
or they were babies. So
They were babies.
that's understandable. What have you taken? You talk about, you added a former head coach, you added a guy who's had a lot of experience as an offensive coordinator. I mean, what are you taking from these guys as a head coach to support you in your role?
A lot of things. I mean, it's kind of hard to just nail it down, but like, I lean on them when I have meetings with just the coordinators and use their minds. And I told them from the get-go when I hired them through that process, I was like, I'm going to lean on you as well. Because I know what it's like. I sat in that chair, you know, with Coach Lunney and Coach Grant, and I know how much a good coordinator does for the head coach and fulfills a lot of hats. And so, to be honest, it's multiple things, you know.
So what will this 2025 roster look like for the new head coach, and where are the emotions going to be as he steps onto that field for the very first time? That's next.
If you're an athlete that wants to improve your game, maybe improve your 40, jump higher, have better agility, Bridges Therapy Group's Sport Recovery and Development Program can help. They've been helping student athletes reach their highest potential for quite a while now. They've got a team that includes physical therapists, athletic trainers, personal trainers, and occupational therapists. And together, they design individual plans to build speed, explosive power, agility, strength, and endurance. Whether your athlete's returning from rehab or working for a competitive edge, SRD provides the training and guidance to help them succeed. Schedule your athlete's assessment today at srdathlete.com.
Quick Turf is the go-to team for building championship-level sports facilities for public schools, private schools, and the entire school district. They also install beautiful backyard putting greens for homeowners. Known for lifelike, eco-friendly turf, Quick Turf handles everything from design and lighting to drainage and final landscaping. Their all-in-one approach delivers high-performance surfaces for athletes and low-maintenance greens that last for years. With preventative maintenance programs, they keep every field and green looking game day ready. Schedule a free consultation today at quickturf.com. That's QIKturf.com.
Matt Lewis with Lewis Automotive Group, excited to announce our trade-in, trade-up event. During this event, you get thousands extra for your trade value. Plus, it's all backed by the Lewis Guarantee. Double the factory warranty, that's a 10-year, 120,000-mile powertrain, plus you get 1 year worth of maintenance on us. This event's only going on at Lewis Automotive Group and is at all of our locations in Fayetteville, Springdale, and Farmington.
Could a little extra support help your child shine even brighter? Bridges Therapy Group empowers kids to live their best life with expert pediatric therapy services tailored to their needs. Their team offers occupational therapy, speech therapy, and physical therapy, guiding families from the first evaluation to every milestone along the way. Give your child the tools to succeed and shine. Visit btgpeds.com to learn more and schedule your appointment today. That's btgpeds.com.
Love where you live and play with Lindsay Management. Enjoy affordable apartments with community amenities like fitness centers and resort-style pools at select locations. Golf memberships are also available at beautiful 9 and 18-hole courses. Buying or selling a home, commercial, or investment property? Trust Lindsay and Associates, serving the community and bringing great neighbors together for over 50 years. Lindsay, #1 in apartments, golf, and real estate.
All right, so let's talk about your team.
Okay.
You guys about to roll out there on a Friday. How excited are you? I mean, there's a lot that Har-Ber went through last year that you're trying to turn around and get going in a trajectory that can sustain success. That's the goal, right? You don't want to capture lightning in a bottle necessarily. You want it to be sustainable. And so how do you like your team this year and the pieces that you have?
I like it a lot. I really, these kids have come together. Our main focus has been to build relationships, to build a family. We talk a lot about like positive touches and positive contacts, guys high-fiving, enjoying each other, being a family, knowing each other's name. Because I truly believe that'll take care of a lot of things. I mean, like last night at our scrimmage against Tulsa Union, and Tulsa Union's a really good football team. I mean, we went over there for 2 quarters, and I mean, it's 2 quarters. It's not a real game, but we ended up 10-3. We if you say when we win 10-3 against a really good team, and I told them before, all I care about is that you guys play together and fight till the bitter end, and have positive. And I mean, we overcame some hills and valleys, and just stayed together and stayed the course. So I mean, that's kind of what we're trying to build on.
You've been in locker rooms. You were a player in college. You know how important buy-in is. And so how important was that for you to get these guys to buy into the guys that you brought in on your staff, to buy into this vision that you wanted to paint, not just for now, but long term, and to buy into this day-to-day on what it's going to take to be successful?
Yeah, it means everything. I mean, that's what we talked to the kids about, is buying in. And that's what I was probably most nervous about last night and still this Friday. I mean, the truth is, I mean, I'm very transparent with our players and upfront, and try to be consistent on things. And it's like, hey, just like anything else, he seems to be saying all the right things, but until there's success, are they going to think I'm full of it, or, like, hey. And so I it's huge for the coaches have bought in, the players have bought in. But again, there's the surface level of buy-in, then there's the deep buy-in, and that's what a good program continues to get to, is to where all those kids are deeply rooted and bought in. And I think that comes with success, and continuing to see how your coaches relate to you and love you, even when it's, when something goes bad,
Yeah. And you're not just taking over a team, you are a head coach for the very first time. And so is there an element of, man, I hope I'm doing the right thing? There are gonna be lessons learned, right? And things that are like, that works, that doesn't work. But for you too, just figuring out who you are as a head coach as you're doing all of this.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Like, like every little thing you say is magnified, and it's trying to make sure you're always saying the right things and doing the right things. And then you hope, well, I hope I said that right, And I'm pretty transparent with my kids. I'm like, my grammar is not the best. I mean, I think it's grammar. Sometimes I say vocabulary. My wife corrects me. That's not vocabulary. That's grammar. That you don't say things correctly. But sometimes, that would be definitely a thing that you're always. I think that's always in the back of your mind, probably as a head coach, no matter how long you do it. Like, am I doing the right thing? Using your mentors and calling them and saying, hey, what would you do in this situation? Well, how would you say this, or what would you do? And using your guys on your staff. There's guys with a lot of great experience on my staff. And so I have a great AD, 2 great ADs, and Jeff Williams and Keith Fimple. I mean, those guys have done it at the highest level really well. So there's a lot of really good people around me, and I'm very lucky and blessed to have that.
And they hired you for a reason. And I'm sure they're your biggest supporters. I want to take a little bit of a turn right now, because you mentioned your wife and your family, and it is not just a you thing, it's a we thing when it comes to taking over a program and being a head coach. And tell me about them and the support that they have given you from day one since you've taken over. And even I'm sure at Bentonville too.
Yeah, no, they have. I mean, it's my wife is a teacher as well. She's amazing, Amanda. She's a great coach's wife. She's always there, and she's a very strong person. She's been there for me, and we're always, you know, I think we do a good job of just because she gets busy, we get busy, but I think we do a good job of finding time as a family and just as a wife and husband and having those moments where you talk and be transparent with each other. And our kids, we have three boys, Kaysen, Asher, and Hayes. We have two twins. So we have Kaysen, who's in sixth grade, and Asher and Hayes are in first grade, twin boys. So we got a lot going on. Sports are a thing. Outside of this, then you're going to all their sporting events and doing their thing. And you know, it's just, and we're not the only ones. It's everywhere, you know, the craziness of life. But they're supportive and they're great. And I'm very blessed.
How often are the boys out there at practice with you?
They come out a lot. I think we have we took a coach's kid picture after our first scrimmage on Saturday, and I don't think we realized how many coaches' kids we have on staff. And then we got out there and there was like a mob of them. I looked at my wife and said, I think we have a daycare over here now. So that was fun though, because it needs to be a good family atmosphere, you know, and I think that's what makes it neat to be a coach. You know, I want my boys growing up in an indoor facility, being around the sport, you know, so they are.
They do talk about how important that is, not just, I've spent so much time on the collegiate level, and you look at the coaching staff at Arkansas and how much the coaches' wives do together, and the family atmosphere that they have over there, and how important is that to have that support, not just for you, but the rest of your coaching staff when it comes to really making things a cohesive unit outside of the football field and on it.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like, I think, you know, that's one thing I think we did well at Bentonville. And Coach Lunney, that was something, you know, family was important, you know, so like after games on Friday nights, when we're at home, we have people that are going to come and bring meals for us, and all the family's going to come in here. We're not going to watch film. We're not going to break down stuff. We're going to enjoy time as families coming together and do things like that. We had before the season started in July, since a lot of us are new, all the coaches and their wives, we went out and had like a nice dinner together and just, you know, got them all together for the first time, because you know, there's a lot of new faces, and just trying to build that bond where everything is cohesive, you know, and they enjoy being, or I want people to want to be around, you know, I want it to be that kind of atmosphere. So
You've done a lot in your career to lead up to this moment on Friday night when you walk out on the field for the first time. You guys are going on the road, but you walk out in your polo head coaching headset for the very first time as a head coach. What is that going to feel like?
I don't know. You'll have to ask me here in a week. I don't know. I think it'll be exciting, and I'm just excited to see these kids. After what I saw last night, I'm so excited for these kids. Like, to see, that's what I told them. The best part of last night was watching those kids come over, and as they come over to come see you, the smiles on their faces and the excitement, because they had just played their butts off for 2 quarters and we're in the lead, you know? And so that, I don't know, that's what I'm excited for, hopefully.
Are you nervous?
Well, yeah, I think anybody that would be lying if they said they weren't nervous. I think you got to stop coaching if you don't have pregame jitters and nervousness before the game. That's kind of what makes it fun, you know?
Do you think these guys have a lot that they would want to prove? I'm sure they do this season. Just because of how last year, you know, not just for you, but how last year went and how the last couple of years have gone, that they feel like they want to go out there and prove that Har-Ber football is something to take seriously.
I agree. No, I think they do. You know, we've talked to the seniors a little bit now that, like, hey, I don't talk a lot about who we play and where we're going right now. It was all about us getting better. It was all about us. But within that, I would continue to, you know, throw in seeds of, you know, you guys are fixing to leave a legacy, seniors, behind. You're going to be the team that leaves a legacy that turns this thing in the right direction, you know. And you could kind of see their faces, you know, like light up, like, yeah, that's going to be us, you know. And so, again, it's just hopefully it'll be an exciting thing. We'll see.
We thank Coach Danenhauer for the time and wish the Wildcats nothing but the best this season. A special shout out to our sponsors, Lindsay, Lewis Automotive, Bridges Therapy Group, and Quick Trip. We'll see you next time with more stories to tell.